Imagine waking up tomorrow, and everything you depend on is gone. Your phone has no signal, no internet, no Google Maps, no GPS showing your location. You walk outside, and for the first time, you realize something. The world is much bigger than you thought. No roads telling you where to go, no signs showing the direction, no vehicles waiting to take you somewhere safe. Only a massive, unknown world in front of you. Now imagine you are not traveling for a vacation. You are not searching for adventure. You are walking because stopping means you might not survive. This was the reality of the first humans. Today, traveling feels almost effortless. We can wake up in one country and sleep in another. We can sit inside an airplane, look out the window, and watch the world pass below us. We can open a map and instantly know where we are. But ancient humans had none of this. For them, the world was a mystery waiting to be discovered. A forest was not just trees. It was a place filled with unknown dangers. A mountain was not just a beautiful view. It was a giant obstacle blocking the path ahead. And an ocean was not just water. It was a massive unknown world. So how did humans go from a small group living in Africa to becoming the species that reached almost every corner of Earth? How did they cross places they had never seen before? How did they survive without the technology we consider necessary today? This is the story of humanity's greatest journey. Not the journey of kings, not the journey of famous explorers, but the journey of ordinary people who changed the world by simply trying to survive. Thousands of years ago, human life was completely different. Imagine starting your morning not by checking messages, but by searching for food. Imagine going outside without knowing what you would find. Imagine your entire future depending on your ability to understand nature. Early humans had to observe everything around them, the movement of animals, the flow of rivers, the changing seasons, the signs of weather. Nature was their map, and every small discovery helped them survive another day. But then, something changed. The environment changed. Some areas became harder to live in. Food became more difficult to find. And humans faced a choice: stay where they were, or move into the unknown. They chose to move, not because they wanted to explore the planet, not because they knew what was waiting ahead. They moved because survival pushed them forward, and that small movement became the beginning of the greatest migration in history. But imagine being the first person to walk beyond familiar land. Behind you was everything you knew: your home, your surroundings, your safe place. Ahead of you was nothing. No map, no information, no guarantee that the next place would be better. Only a decision. Keep going. And humans kept going. They crossed open lands. They followed rivers. They entered new environments. Every step took them farther into the unknown. But the planet did not make it easy. A desert today can already feel impossible. Now imagine crossing 1,000s of years ago. No cars, no water bottles, no emergency support. Only what you could carry and what you could create. Humans survived because they learned. They created stronger tools. They shaped stones into useful objects. They discovered new ways to hunt. They used their intelligence to solve problems. A simple tool could save a life. A small invention could help an entire group survive. Then came one of humanity's greatest discoveries: fire. Today, warmth is easy. We turn on a heater, we turn on a light, we cook food with modern machines. But for ancient humans, fire changed everything. It gave them warmth during freezing nights. It helped them prepare safer food. It protected them in dangerous environments. Fire was not just a discovery, it was a tool that allowed humans to travel farther. But as humans moved across Earth, they reached colder places, places where survival seemed impossible. Imagine standing in a frozen landscape. No heated houses, no modern jackets, no machines helping you survive. Humans had to adapt again. They created better clothing. They built stronger shelters. They learned how to live where their ancestors had never lived before. And this became humanity's greatest strength. Not being the strongest animal, not being the fastest animal, but being the animal that could adapt. However, one challenge remained. the ocean. For ancient humans, the sea was a giant barrier, a place where the land disappeared, a place where they could not see what was waiting ahead. But humans always looked for solutions. They observed nature, they saw wood floating, they learned from the world around them. And eventually, they built boats. These boats were nothing like modern ships. No engines, no technology. No navigation systems, only simple materials and human creativity. They entered the water without knowing exactly where they would end up. They faced uncertainty, they faced danger, but they traveled anyway, because every journey taught them something new. Every generation went farther than the one before. Slowly, humans spread across continents. They crossed mountains. They followed coastlines. They reached islands. They entered places where no human had lived before. And the most amazing part? They were not trying to make history. They were not thinking about becoming the first travelers. They were simply trying to survive. A family searching for food, a group looking for safety, a traveler following the next horizon. But those small steps created the world we live in today, because every human alive carries the story of those ancient journeys, the people who walked into unknown lands, the people who crossed impossible distances, the people who proved humans could survive almost anywhere. Before we built cities, we crossed landscapes. Before we created technology, we used imagination. Before we explored space, we explored Earth. And the greatest journey humans ever made was the journey that brought us here. Subscribe and like the channel.